Good afternoon. So this video is going to show you how to start using AutoCAD. This first project is really just meant to help you kind of get to know the tools and how to work in the drawing. So the first thing you need to do is open AutoCAD. So on your desktop, you should be able to see this icon that has the letter I on it. When you open that up, it should take you to this control panel that looks something like this. Now, the first thing we're going to do is open a new drawing. There's two ways to do that. So the first way, if you go up here in the upper left-hand corner, you can click on New, and then it will bring up this template here. And if you scroll down here, you'll see that there's standard DWG, which stands for drawing. And you can click on that icon and then create down here in the lower right hand corner, and that will open up a drawing for you. The other thing that you can do is, if you notice, you have four tools here, and you can click on drawing right here from the start menu. It takes a minute or two for the drawing to load. But once it loads, you should see kind of this like clear piece of paper, and it has a border and a title block on it. So the default setting is for this to be D size architectural drawing paper, which requires a special printer, which we have, but we're not going to waste printer ink and all that paper to print these drawings. So instead, the first thing you're going to have to do is go up here to where it says sheet number 1, and you're going to right click on the little box in front of sheet number 1 and select edit sheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the sheet size to be something that we can print in our everyday printer. So the name of the sheet, instead of being sheet 1, should be something like CAD project, ornament project, something like that. So I'm going to change it to ornament instead. For the size, we want it to be size A. Size A is your normal 8.5 by 11 printer paper. You can change the orientation between portrait and landscape. We want to keep this in landscape, and then you're going to go OK. Now, you'll notice that you now have this giant title block that takes up a good chunk of your page, and that's because this is the large title block. We want to switch that for the smaller title block. So what you're going to do is you're going to, again, right click on the box, only this time instead of it being the sheet, you're going to right click in front of the box where it says ONZ large, and you're going to delete that title block. And then we're going to open up the drawing resources by clicking on the plus sign. And then we're going to open up the title box by clicking on the plus sign in front of the title box. And then we're going to double click on the box in front of the ONZ A. And notice now we have a much smaller title block. The next thing we're going to do is fill out our title block. So if you go to annotate, you'll notice that there's some tools here, including dimensional tools and stuff like that. We're going to click on the text tool, and now our cursor is not a pointer anymore, it's a plus. So when you click in the box with that plus sign, it opens up this title box, and you can type whatever you want. So the top one is always the engineer. So I'm going to put my first and last name in there. The second box is the project title. So I'm just going to name this my 2022 ornament project. And then notice that scale is blank and it automatically numbers the sheet. So I'm going to do full scale because we're going to end up cutting these eventually. So we want to call this full scale. And then the tolerance box is also blank. So I'm going to put in there, I'm going to use centimeters. So I'm going to go 0.1 cm for my tolerance. So notice now my title block is all full. Now, you can freehand draw something on here, uh, and that's totally okay. I have a project to work on for Miss Gum's class in which she would like a cardinal that we can do a cut file for. So I'm going to push escape to get out of the text tool because as you notice, my cursor is still that plus sign. So I have to click escape to get out of the tool. Now my cursor is back to a pointer. And I'm going to go into in the manage tab. So up here in the insert pane of the manage tab, you'll see there's a tool that says insert object. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to click on create from file because I've already downloaded the cardinal face that I want to use. So I'm going to use browse to find the document, the picture that I've already downloaded. It's in my Google Drive, so I'm going to click on the Google Drive down here. It's in my drive, so I'm going to click on that, and then I have to find the image that I just downloaded this morning. Here it is, this cardinal. It's a PNG file. Then I'm going to click OK. As you can see, there's like a big square on my screen. That square represents the outer boundaries of the image that I'm going to copy. And so I want to put it someplace where it's not going to overlap with my title block. And then I'm going to left click it into place. So notice that now I have the image of a cardinal on the screen. I can change the size. So if I go down here to the corner, I can make it bigger or smaller. And I can move it still around the screen by grasping the image. But now I have the image that I want to use. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the sketch folder, and if you notice, there are some tools here, but I'm not actually in a sketch yet. So what I want to do is I want to start a 2D sketch. So I click on the start 2D sketch, and notice it opens up the rest of those tools. So you only get those tools when you have a new sketch open. So notice over here in my model pane, I now have a new icon here that says sketch 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a series of shapes, and I'm going to try to like copy this design. So for example, I might want to use a straight line from here to the corner. Notice that once I open my tool and use it, it's still open. So again, to close any tool, you're going to escape. And then notice I still have this line here. Now that line's kind of hard to see. So I can change the color of that line to make it easier to see. And I can also zoom in and out. So over here on the right hand side, this is my viewing pane. So this magnifying glass with the sheet of paper behind it is the zoom all. So anytime I'm zoomed in or zoomed out, if I click on zoom all, it will go back to this screen that you can see here. If I want to make it bigger or smaller, I can click on the plus minus zoom, And if I move my fingers apart, it makes it smaller. If I move my fingers together, it makes it bigger. And then notice I click zoom all, and it goes right back to that home screen. So I'm going to click on the zoom in. I'm going to zoom into my line to get out of the zoom tool. Again, remember, I have to click escape to get out of any tool. So I'm hovering over that line, and now it's turned red. If I right click on that, I can click on properties. When you click on properties, you can change the shape, the color, the thickness, etc. of the line. So I'm going to try and change mine to like yellow so it stands out a little better. Maybe not. Still not really standing out that great. So I'm going to try changing the weight. I'm going to make it thicker so that hopefully I can see it better. There we go. So now I can see that line better, and that will help me to be able to trace what I'm doing a little easier. So your job is to create some sort of image, either by tracing an image that's already out there, like the cardinal, or by freehanding your own image using these 4 tools: the line, the circle, the arc, and the rectangle. Your goal is to use all of those tools at least once, so that you know how to use them when it comes time to be doing our next prototype, which we're going to have to draw in AutoCAD. Once you have your design, or when we get close to the end of the class, you're going to have to save your file. It will not save automatically. So to save your file, you're going to click on File. You're going to click on Save As. It's going to tell you you can't save it in sketch mode because Ms. Thompson forgot to go out of sketch mode. So to go out of sketch mode, you click Finish Sketch. Then we're going to try this again. Go to File, click on Save As. It's going to give you options of where to save it. You cannot save it in Documents. You are going to have to either save it to your Google Drive, or you're going to have to save it to the desktop. I would recommend saving it to your Google Drive and then downloading it when you're ready to work on it again, because if you save it to the desktop, you have to be on the exact same computer every single time. You cannot access it from any other computer. So I'm going to click here on Google Drive. You're going to want to save it in your drive, and I have a bajillion folders. So I'm just going to call this Cardinal, and I'm going to save it there. All right, so that should be enough to get you started. Remember your goal: use each one of those sketch tools at least once. And then when you are done, you are going to be printing it out. So when you're ready to print it out, let Miss T know, and I can help you load the printer if it's not already loaded. So have a great time CADing, and I look forward to seeing all of your cool artwork.